I'm Full Paragon, and this is Recommended Recruits for Konosuba Fantastic Days. Today we have a double header with the Maid Banner 1 and the first rerun banner, our Summer 1 rerun banner. Let's take a look at which adventurers you're recommended to recruit and which you'd be better off leaving in the Adventurers Guild. First up, let's take a look at the Maid 1 banner, which has been added to the permanent pool. This banner features two new wind adventurers, Maid Amy and Maid Mia. Originally, this banner ran very early on in the game's evolution in Japan, and running alongside that is an event in which you can acquire a 3-star Wind Rin for free. The first new adventurer we'll take a look at is Maid Mia. She is a wind tank and is a 4-star adventurer. She possesses 2 skills, the first of which is a single target wind damage skill, and it comes with a tier 2 self physical attack buff. Her second skill is also a single target damage skill, and provides a tier 1 physical defense buff for your entire party. She is slightly better than the original Mia in that both of her skills are damage dealing skills. However, the fact that her physical damage buff is selfish greatly hampers her, and we are of course still in a mage dominated meta, meaning that Maid Mia will not ever see any use in meta teams. Even when we eventually see a recurrence of physical teams in the meta, this will not be a top choice for them. The second unit on the Maid banner is Maid Amy, who is a wind healer and support unit. Her first skill is an AoE damage skill, and importantly, comes with a party tier 2 magic attack buff. This will combo well with her ultimate, which can provide a tier 3 magic attack buff. Her skill 2 is single target damage along with a minor heal. This makes Maid Amy a pretty good wind support unit. Using the first version of her ultimate, she has both a heal and a party-wide tier 3 magic attack buff, and she has 2 damage dealing skills. However, there is a problem. She comes out right after we have just received a possibly better wind support unit in Cafe Cecily. Cafe Cecily has an even better buff in providing a tier 1 agility buff. Her ultimate is probably not as good as Maid Amy's, and there will be some arenas where Maid Amy will be superior to Cecily because of her ability to provide more healing. I don't think this will save Maid Amy from residing in B tier, seeing only occasional off-meta usage. The real prize here isn't on the banner, but is rather the welfare unit that you can receive for free through participating in the event. 3-star Wind Rin has 2 damage dealing skills. The first is single target and provides a tier 2 agility debuff on the boss, which is hugely important. The second deals AoE damage and has a tier 1 physical attack debuff. That's not quite as relevant as the agility debuff, but can still help your team survive some big hits from bosses. Situationally, this Rin is better than the original 4-star Rin, primarily if you either lack 4-star Rin or if you have not yet skilled her up. It's far easier to max skill a welfare using the potions that you can attain through the shop. The other situation would be if you require a specific debuff on the boss to cheese certain mechanics or to prevent a big hit that would wipe out your team. Even for players who have already maxed out their 4-star Wind Rin, this is still going to be a very useful unit, either as a substitute for your 4-star or in those niche situations where you'd rather put an agility debuff on the boss. Make sure to get her from the shop and max skill her as soon as possible. For a majority of players, the verdict here is a hard pass. Certain collectors and whales may find something of interest on this banner. If you are a whale who wants to have every possible option in Arena, Wind Amy has some benefits to her, and if for some reason you are really into one of these two characters, you might want to collect them in a maid outfit. However, most players won't get any real benefit from attaining these units, especially since they're in the permanent banner and you can pick them up on a more valuable banner as a consolation prize. Really, the best thing here is the welfare unit, Wind Rin, who is an excellent choice. Save your quartz for a better banner. Speaking of a better banner, let's talk about the Summer Rerun. This features limited units from the Summer Banner 1A, B, and C. These will likely return again in the future alongside the Summer 2 banners. This is the first time that we've had a limited banner rerun. However, Japan has had many of these banners, so expect to see more of them in the future. I will note that probably doesn't include the ReZero banner, but rather the limited seasonal banners such as Christmas or Valentine's. There will be 7 units on this banner, 5 4-star units and 2 3-star units. All of these are limited. They do not appear on the permanent premium banner. We've all seen these units before, so I'm going to run through them quickly one by one and recommend which of them are the best for you to chase. First up is Swimsuit Melissa, who is probably the most desired unit on the original Swimsuit Banner 1A. Once, she was a great unit for Fire Arena and saw use on a large number of teams. However, in this day and age, the meta is ruled by mages, and she doesn't even have as good a kit as the original Treasure Hunter Mel. She's quite bad now, and she's in C tier. There's absolutely no reason to try and get her outside of waifu collection purposes. Second, we have Swimsuit Rin, who ran alongside Melissa in the Swimsuit 1A banner. She's an excellent fire mage, though she's not quite as good as Halloween Yunyun, lacking that team agility buff that Halloween Yunyun has. The Whale Fair unit, Cafe Yunyun, is almost as good as Swimsuit Rin, although I would usually pick Swimsuit Rin over her. She's still good. She can work alongside Yunyun in teams, as having redundancy on that tier 3 team magic attack buff that Wen provides isn't a bad thing at all, and the fact that she has a self tier 2 agility buff on her ult is quite good. She is an A tier, however, Fire Arena is probably the most hotly contested arena, and since there is a welfare option in Cafe Yunyun, many players don't really need to chase Swimsuit Rin here. We come now to the Swimsuit 1B units, the first of which is Swimsuit Darkness. Objectively, Darkness is terrible in Arena. She'll always be in the bottom tier D tier. However, being Darkness, she's probably into that. I will note that even though she's fairly useless in regular Arena, when it comes to EX Arena, Swimsuit Darkness does have a fairly useful niche, specifically when we're talking about the EX arenas that focus primarily on mitigating damage. Darkness is probably the adventurer who is best in the game at reducing incoming damage to herself, and when we have arenas that focus on damage mitigation, she can help boost your score there. She has 2 buffs in her kit for your team, the first of which is a team-wide tier 2 agility buff, and the second of which will boost one unit's physical attack and defense. However, she's still not that great even there, as even in EX arenas where you get bonus points for reducing the damage you take, the overall formula is fairly heavily weighted towards how much damage you're able to deal to the boss. And in that regard, Swimsuit Darkness continues to be of very little help. Next up, we have Swimsuit Yunyun, who is the first 3-star unit we'll talk about on this banner. She is strictly inferior to Academy Yunyun as far as water mages go. That being said, she's still A tier, and you can get a top 1000 score using Swimsuit Yunyun, even if it's slightly harder than doing so with Academy Yunyun. One of those two is basically mandatory if you want to rank in Water Arena. Because of that fact, if you don't have Academy Yunyun or Swimsuit Yunyun, I almost would say that it's worth it to go in on this banner chasing Swimsuit Yunyun. This is mostly because as a 3-star, her rate up is much higher than it is for the 4-star units. Still, that's a bit of a dicey proposition, so I'd only go in if there's someone else that you want as well. And the last part of this rerun are the adventurers who on the Swimsuit 1C banner, the first of which is Swimsuit Aqua. She is a good if not great support, having 2 damaging skills in the lightning element, one of which is a minor heal, the other of which is that ever important gauge fill. At one point in time, Swimsuit Aqua was at the absolute pinnacle of the meta. However, she is a physically oriented unit and physical is currently inferior. Another thing to keep in mind is that we know that very shortly we'll be getting the Axel Heart banners, which has a Lightning Silo or El Silo on it. El Silo is simply superior to Aqua in most regards, especially for mage teams. At this point in time, Swimsuit Aqua is still on that A tier, but once we get Lightning Silo, she's going to be dropping down to B tier. I wouldn't chase her too hard here. They say to save the best for last, and in the case of Swimsuit Wiz, we definitely have for the 4-star units on the Summer Rerun banner. Swimsuit Wiz is absolutely vital for Lightning Arena. This is because, as she is of the Lightning element, she covers a glaring weakness that Christmas Wiz has. In Lightning Arena, the Water-type enemies resist Christmas Wiz's elemental attacks. Because of this, Swimsuit Wiz is the absolute perfect substitution for Christmas Wiz. You can still get by using Christmas Wiz if you have her, however, ranking with her will be much, much harder than if you're able to use Swimsuit Wiz. This situation is not going to change until we get Legendary Kazuma. Swimsuit Wiz will remain absolutely vital for the meta, and getting into the top 1000 without her will be an arduous task. She is also the best unit on this banner, bar none, and has earned her place in the S tier. The final unit on the Swimsuit Rerun banner will be Swimsuit Megumin. She is a 3-star unit, and as a Megumin, Re-Zero Megumin is usually going to be better. She is of the dark element though, so there are some situations where she will have a niche. She has 2 AoE attacks on her skills, which means she's still very good at clearing waves. Because of this, she's in the A tier. She's not a mandatory unit, but she's certainly a good one to have in your back pocket to pull out if the situation merits it. So where does that leave our final verdict? Well, it's a definite maybe. Swimsuit Wiz is definitely incredibly powerful and worth getting. Swimsuit Rin and Swimsuit Aqua could be worth picking up. As for Melissa and Darkness, they're quite bad and they're just not going to be used. If you're looking at the 3-star units, both of them are quite worth getting, especially if you don't have Academy Yunyun. However, I'm going to have to recommend that free-to-play players still skip this banner. It's not worth breaking the bank, especially with the reduced rates because of how many 4-star adventurers are on this banner. To get a specific unit, it's more likely than usual that you'll end up going to pity, and it's just not worth breaking the bank for Swimsuit Wiz alone. For light spenders without Swimsuit Wiz, yeah, if you're willing to go to pity just to get her, it could be worth it. If you do have Swimsuit Wiz, I absolutely don't recommend you pull on this banner. No one else here is worth chasing with the lowered rates because of the large number of units. The exception is possibly Swimsuit Yunyun for light spenders. She has high enough rates that if you do a couple of 10 pulls, the odds of you getting her are decent enough that it might be worth doing. Only if you don't have Academy Yunyun though. So, those are our 2 banners. Thanks for watching. Overall, my advice is to save your quartz. We do have that mystery banner coming in the beginning of April, and I think that might just have something that's far more worthy of your quartz, especially if you're free to play. Once again, a special thanks to Darkest Sky on Discord. He was a big help in getting many of the assets that you saw in this video. Thank you all again for watching, and may Eris bless your pulls. Have a great time in Konosuba Fantastic Days.